Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video showing you guys how to paint urethane foam rubber. There's really not a whole lot of information out there on YouTube on how to paint urethane, and if there is, it's people using some really expensive specialty paints that are specifically made for urethane. But I wanted to save you guys some of the trouble and save you some of the aches and pains that I went through in trying to paint urethane and show you exactly what I used, especially if you're just casting in straight base urethane foam rubber or some form of urethane. This product specifically is called Flex Foam at 15. It is made by a company named Smooth On. I used it for my Robocop Midsection, and like I said, it wasn't as easy as I thought to paint this. I did find a really good, inexpensive paint that you can get locally if you did want to try to paint this. So let's go ahead and jump into it and let me show you what I used. So today we are going to be painting the urethane foam rubber midsections, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the complications that I ran into trying to paint urethane foam rubber and save you guys some of the trouble if you're doing something similar like this. These are my foam midsections. These are the finished pieces that I'm going to try to wear. This is a neck piece that is also foam rubber. It is attached with Velcro. And this is the front midsection, this is the back midsection. So initially when I casted these, I didn't do as much research as I should have and learned how to paint urethane foam rubber. So I try to just be logical and think, well, you know, this stuff's flexible. My first go-to was Plastidip. I just thought, well, you know, Plastidip's a rubberized coating, it's flexible, it should be fine, it should do the job. And here is my test piece. Originally, I loved this. This is probably like the second piece I casted. It came out nearly perfect, and I was so excited to be able to wear it. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to get some Plastidip. We're going to spray paint this thing. We're good to go. And initially, spray painting it with the Plastidip, it looked amazing. I was like, man, that is perfect. And of course, after throwing it around a little bit, looking at it, I started to see some bubbling, just like that. That's actually Plastidip still. That it started bubbling when you're moving it. You can probably see some more there. And then when you kind of rub your finger, it starts to kind of peel off like that. And I went, no! You know, that's the initial I completely failed reaction. And realized quickly that Plastidip was not gonna cut it. So I moved on and I thought, well, what's the next thing I can use? And I thought, you know what, I bet you that Duplicolor stuff that you could put on your leather seats for your car will do the job. This vinyl and fabric paint. Now, I had some gray already because one of my Mustangs I used it on. So instead of running and just buying the black vinyl and fabric, I just thought, you know what, I'll test it with the gray, I'll see how it works, and hopefully this should do the job. And I did it right here, and you can kind of tell it cracks still, and you can kind of peel away the coating with your thumb. Now this definitely probably more would have worked instead of the Plastidip, which you see here, which just kind of peels right off of it. I think I could have got away with the vinyl and fabric, but at the same time, I didn't want to waste my time with it peeling off and cracking. But it probably would have worked. I wasn't satisfied with it. I didn't like it. It still just seemed like a top coat. It didn't seem like it really got into the porous urethane foam rubber surface. So that was no bueno. So I moved on to another type of Duplicolor paint. Whoa. I'm dropping everything here. So this one came recommended, and this is a Duplicolor trim and bumper paint for like polyurethane bumpers that are on cars that have flex and can absorb a lot of heat. I thought, well, you know, this should do the job. Well, tested it over here on this piece. and it kind of did something similar, like the Plasti Dip. Kind of peeled off and kind of wrinkles, but initially I thought this was going to work. It doesn't peel as much or as fast as the Plasti Dip, but it still peels. It's still just a top surface. So that was fail number 3. Fail number 4 came after I started finally doing some research. Some people say they just do light mists of Krylon. Light mists, not heavy mists, but some light mists. So I did some passing light mists of the Krylon, and you could see it still just kind of cracks, kind of peels a little bit. You can see some of the Krylon right here. It still was no bueno. So, after doing more research, I went back to the original Smooth On video that showed the guy, he was doing some Batman front, I think it was a front and back midsection. No, it was just a front section of a Batman suit. And that's kind of how I initially learned about Flex Foam It to want to use it for this particular application. And he spray painted it. And I was trying to, they didn't say what kind of paint they used. So when he started spray painting it, I caught just enough of the logo of what he was using. And after doing some research, I put 2 and 2 together, and people were recommending this paint called Tulip or Tulip paint, which is right here. And I caught just enough of the logo in his hand to put 2 and 2 together and saw that he used the Tulip paint. And so I said, well, you know what? Who sells this stuff? Where can I get it? Well, I ended up finding out that you can get this stuff at Walmart. And this is like a fabric paint. People use this on hats. They use it on upholsteries. They use it on t-shirts. And so I went out and located a Walmart that sold it, and it cost about $5 a can. So I had another test piece. I didn't test it on this one. I tested it on this, and this is the Tulip paint. So that's kind of originally how it comes out. Even with the black pigment, it kind of comes out a little grayish. But then I used the Tulip, and it is awesome. So these are just some air bubbles. That's nothing. That's why this is a test piece, because I really wasn't happy with the air bubbles. That's just from me not brushing it and releasing the air as much as I should have. But it doesn't peel. It doesn't scratch off. It actually absorbs into the porous surface of the polyurethane. So I was like, that's it. That's what we're going to use. So the paint you're going to want to use, if you do use this foam rubber and you need something to be black, or any other color for that matter, they make multiple colors, is this Tulip stuff. So I'm going to save you the trouble, and there you go. It is Tulip Color Shot. They even have some UV protected versions of it. But that is definitely what you want to use. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get this painted with this Tulip Black Color Shot paint, and I'll show you how it looks. So here we are with the urethane neck piece. As you can tell, it's kind of that light grayish from the pigment. It's not exactly the satin black that I'm looking for, like how it was on the Robocop 1 suit. So I'm going to show you guys how I spray paint it with this Tulip Color Shot that I explained earlier. What you're going to want to do is kind of shake it up for about a minute. You don't have a whole lot of product in this small can. So for a large piece, like how my midsection is, you're probably going to need like 2 or 3 of these. And for this neck piece, 1 shall do. I might have a little bit more left. Just keep that in mind if you do use this on something. So I'm going to finish shaking it up, and I'm going to do some light coats. You kind of just want to do it light. You could tell when you spray it, it starts to get a little spongy. And that's just because the urethane foam rubber is actually absorbing this material. It's not just a surface coat. But once it dries, that spongy look just kind of goes away. It like re-expands back out. So there we go. Nothing fancy. And that's that. So on any piece you have, that's pretty much how you'll do it. So we got the midsections all painted up, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly how it looks. It looks amazing. I love the sheen of the paint. It's like the perfect satin black and very close to the original first Robocop, whereas the second Robocop, the midsection was really glossy. I think it was like a ABS vac formed midsection in part 2, something of the sort. I could be wrong. But the first movie was definitely a satin latex foam rubber. And it came out fantastic. All the details are there. And I think it's all going to look great with the rest of the suit. So if you're painting urethane foam rubber, you're going to want to go with the Tulip Color Shot paint. It absorbs right into the foam. And that's how she'll look when she's all done. So thanks guys, I hope that helps. I hope that helps some of you that are doing other projects with urethane foam rubber or any other type of urethane. I hope it helps you out and saves you a little bit of trouble. Thanks guys.